and welcome to another one of Rich and Jen in the kitchen. And today we're going to make something that is very good.
Yes.
It's got a little bit of prep work,
yes,
but not real difficult. Today we're going to make roasted salmon on fresh ratatouille. This is a recipe that was given to me by a lady in Florida named Karen Glenn. She was fantastic. I've changed it just a little bit, but I thought we'd go ahead and do it. What we're going to do is we're going to cook the ratatouille first, and then after the ratatouille is done, we're going to prepare the salmon, and then we're going to put it on the ratatouille and we're going to bake it. And then after it's done, you can see what it looks like. For those of you who do not like salmon, you do not have to use salmon. You can use chicken. It'll work very well. Just make sure that you slice your chicken breasts thin or pound them out a little bit so that they're a little more tender. That's the only thing that you want to make sure you use. So the first thing that we're going to do is I've got all of our ingredients measured out, and we're going to do the recipe. And like I did the last few times, I'm going to put the recipe in the comments section. And as before, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll be happy to answer any of them for you. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we've measured out our olive oil. We're going to put 1/3 cup of olive oil into our pan.
Hey, how hot is that burner?
I have this at between medium and medium high. It's about 300 degrees.
Okay.
And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these onions that we have chopped.
Oh.
And we're going to put them in.
How much onions you got?
There are 2 medium onions in here.
Okay.
And what we want is we want to saute these onions just until they're slightly clear.
I love the smell. Onion saute.
I know, it smells so good. And here's the thing. You do not have to have these in a uniform size. I mean, you can chop them. Some can be a little bigger. Some can be a little smaller. This recipe is very forgiving in that regard. So,
what is a ratatouille?
Ratatouille is a vegetable stew that was originated in France, and it was, I believe, in the 1700s. And a lot of like the poor farmers would take all of their leftover vegetables and they would make a stew, so they would not waste them. And it was hard to come by food, not like it is today. So that's where it originated from.
Okay.
And this recipe has zucchini, mushrooms. You can use orange and green or orange and red bell pepper, tomatoes, onions, garlic. But the thing about ratatouille is you can put different vegetables. Some people put eggplant. If you like that, you can put it in. You can just make it to your own taste. So if you go, oh, I don't like mushrooms, then add in eggplant, and then just substitute out the amount for the amount that is called for in the recipe.
Cool.
And you won't have any problem with that. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, and I wanted to show you guys something really neat. Now, I've prepped most of the stuff just because we all know pretty much how to chop stuff up. But I wanted to show you a really cool little gadget that I got. And I really like this. When you're slicing something like this zucchini and you want it to all be the same size, this has an adjustment. You can go locked, closed, so you don't cut yourself. And you've got 3 different settings. Now on this, I'm going to put it on the largest cutting setting. And then all you do is...
Oh, wow. Is that, I'm going to kill this, is that a mandolin or?
Well, it's really just a slicer. Yes. Now, when you get down to the bottom, this little part right here is great to use because you do not want to cut yourself. So you can take it and press these into it, or you can take it and start it and then just put that on.
Oh, yeah. Well, that took no time to do those. Do that.
Nope. And then it's all finished up.
Wow.
So these are really neat. And I got this from Amazon, and I think it was like $15 or $18. I'll put a link below. But I use it for slicing onions, potatoes, zucchini, carrots, anything that I need slices that I want them to be uniform, and I don't want to have to sit there and, take a lot of time on each
Awesome.
one. So. All right, now we've got this onion sauteed until it's softened.
Yeah, looks Translucent.
And yeah, and now we're going to put in, the next thing is going to be the zucchini.
Zucchini.
Mushrooms, peppers, and garlic. So we're just going to toss it all in. So we've got our onions and our mushrooms.
Yep.
And then we've got our, you can either use orange and yellow just because of the color, or you can use red. And we're going to add in our garlic.
Ooh, yeah. Love the garlic. So everybody's getting in the pool like Fierre's.
That's right. Now we want to just kind of stir this up. And we're going to turn our heat. I turned it down for the onion because I didn't want it to burn. We're going to turn it up just a little bit to like a in between medium high. And then we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. And we're going to be stirring this constantly. And then we're going to come back after our 5 minutes is up and let you take a look and see what it looks like.
All right.
While this is cooking, I do want to tell you guys that this recipe calls for quite a bit of basil. When I went to the store today, I looked in the, the herb section, and the basil came in these little containers, and it was like $2.75, and it did not look real fresh. And this happens a lot, so this is what I usually do. I go buy myself a whole basil plant for $4.99, and I have taken off how much, probably a cup of chopped basil that goes in different parts of this recipe, and I have all of this left. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to put it in the kitchen window and use it up until it's gone.
Yeah.
And if it's still good in the spring, I'll plant it outside in my little herb garden. And hey, that's a much fresher choice than a lot of these cut herbs that you find in the grocery store.
Yeah, it smelled good.
Yes.
I helped you chop a little bit.
Yes, it does. It smells fantastic. So, all right, we're just going to continue to stir this. We've got a couple more minutes, and then we'll come back and add some of our additional ingredients. Okay. So this has been going for about 5 minutes, and it's starting to soften up just a little bit, and it's all mixed together really well. And the next thing we're going to add is we are going to add our 1 can of diced tomatoes. I get the ones because we're using the basil, garlic, and oregano already, so I just get the one with that in it. Huh. And we're going to pour that right straight in and get out all of the goodie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we've got salt, pepper, and oregano. And I just went ahead and measured this out, and we're going to put that in. Okay. Now we're going to stir this all up. It smells so good.
It sure does.
Just because, and this time of year in the winter time, something like this fresh vegetable stew, and you could make this actually without any meat at all if you wanted to. It's amazing. I've had leftover of this part, and then I've just put it in a bowl. You'll see what it looks like when it's done. And then just put fresh grated Parmesan cheese on it. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
Yeah, this is a perfect day. It's totally raining all day long. So
yes,
I can't wait.
All right, so now this is going to have to simmer for 15 minutes. So we're going to put the lid on this. We're going to turn it down just a little bit to about medium.
Medium, okay.
And then we're going to stir it a couple times in between. And in 15 minutes, we're going to come back and we're going to add the additional ingredients.
Cool.
So here we are. We're about the halfway point. It's been going for about 7.5 minutes. And you can see that everything's starting to get soft now and starting to kind of break down a little bit. And it's just simmering. So we're going to put the top back on. We're going to take the top off and stir it off and on because we want to make sure that nothing sticks to the bottom. And then we're going to come back and add our last 2 ingredients. So I wanted to talk about the salmon for a few minutes. The salmon that I got here, I got from Costco. And as I said in a previous video, was in the seafood industry for many years. And when I moved up here to Tennessee out of Florida, I was like, oh no, where am I going to get seafood? But I knew from experience in Florida that Costco has really good quality products. So we started buying this when we moved here. And this is a farm-raised Atlantic salmon, and it is fresh. I always try to look when I go in there for the date with, of course, the longest date out. They do skin all their salmon.
That's a deep skin.
Yeah,
there.
And they do, which is nice because sometimes when you find salmon, it'll have like a grayish black layer, and that can have a tendency to be fishy. So I really do like their salmon, and you can smell There is no smell to this whatsoever. They also do a really good job boning it.
Yeah.
So the bones run around here where those little holes are, and those are pulled out. So I always run my finger across there to check and make sure I don't feel anything. If I do, I get a pair of tweezers and you can just pull it out. It's no big deal. The other thing is they always leave this on, this is like the belly part of the salmon, which is actually really good because this is the juiciest part. So when we don't want to waste anything. So when we put this in our baking dish, we're actually going to take that and fold it under. And this tail is thinner, so we're going to fold that under. And this is how we're going to lay it in our baking dish. And the reason that we do that is then it cooks about the same time. You don't have the tail being done and overcooked before this top section is cooked.
Kind of like folding like a tenderloin when you cook a tenderloin.
Now this I got at Costco yesterday, and this was $9.95 a pound. And Costco will usually, have it anywhere between $7.99 and $9.95 a pound.
That's really cheap.
Yeah, and salmon is one of the best, fish you can eat. I really like salmon. I could eat it a lot more often, but
I get a little burnt out.
Rich says every once in a while is good.
I love it. It's just too much. It burns me out.
But this is all ready to go. I don't even rinse it because it's clean. There's no scales on it. And anytime you introduce water into seafood, it makes it softer and breaks it down immediately.
And take away the oils, it's taking away the flavor. Yeah.
And if I was going to rinse it, I would make a bowl of ice water. And I would dip it in the ice water and then pat it dry. I would never put it in room temperature water because that's really bad for it too. Now, hopefully this summer when Rich starts catching fresh crappie, we're going to have some crappie recipes. So it's still really cold. We went the other day, but it's just so cold we didn't catch anything. Yeah. So we are going to do a fishing trip with a guy named Matt Zenos who's local. And we've already scheduled it with him for March. And he's going to take us on a 4-hour crappie fishing trip.
Yeah, maybe we can talk him to let us film it. That'd be a really
that would be
neat
fun.
video.
So we might do a video if he's okay with that, and we'll show you our crappie fishing trip. So we're going to come back and put the rest of this together in just a few minutes.
Okay, Jim, while we are waiting for the ratatouille to cook down, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make the ratatouille in advance?
Oh yeah, this is great to make in advance. And what I would do is I would go ahead and get it to when the ratatouille is done. When we're going to come back in a minute, we're going to add our tomato paste and our basil. Then I would turn it off, take the lid off, and just let it cool down. You put it in a Tupperware or something, stick it in the fridge, and then it'll actually taste better the next day because the flavors will meld together better, just like a soup or a stew. When you put it in the fridge, you get it out the next day, you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then when your company is going to come over, you can take this out about half an hour before. You don't even really need to heat it up. Put it in the dish, put your salmon and your topping on your salmon, which we're going to show you in a few minutes, and then pop it in the oven. And the only thing is you're going to probably want to cook it just a tiny bit longer.
Because it's cold?
Yeah, because it'll be cold. It won't really hurt your salmon because this salmon stays very moist because of all the moisture in the ratatouille. So this is just about finished.
Where are we at here? We got about 3 minutes. I don't even want to get my lens close to that.
Yeah, this is has broken down a lot. Yeah, now there still is some character to this zucchini because it's going to cook longer in the oven. We did preheat the oven to 400 degrees, and that way when we finish with this, we're going to put it in the baking dish, and we're going to show you how to finish it up, and then we're going to stick it in the oven and bake it.
Awesome. Well, our 15 minutes is just about up.
Yes.
And is it ever steaming here?
Yes, it's very hot. The next thing we're going to add is 4 tablespoons of tomato paste.
Okay.
So we're going to put that in. Get all that goodie out of there. And then we're going to mix this in really good.
Okay.
And that's going to take a couple of minutes. It's going to give it a lot more flavor and a little bit deeper red color. Now look at that. I know you have a hard time with your lens will steam up, but man, this is looking really beautiful.
I'll go up here. How's that?
Once we get that tomato paste incorporated really good, then what we're going to do is we're going to let it go for about 3 or 4 more minutes just to, really get that blended in well. So we've got about 3 more minutes, and we're gonna put the top on and give it its last little bit of time. I did go ahead and get something ready, very, very simple. This is the breadcrumb topping that is gonna go on the salmon. Rich and I like the whole grain bread. Well, we like Wonder Bread too, but
I love Wonder Bread. No, I started liking this bread you've been getting.
we started eating this, and it's that Dave's Killer Bread. And you can use any kind of bread. We just like this, and actually has a really good flavor. You can use Pepperidge Farm white bread, anything you want. So what we've gotten here is we have 6 slices of bread. We have 1/3 cup of olive oil. We have 2 tablespoons of basil, and we have 1 tablespoon of garlic. And I just put this in the food processor and just pulsed it, and it's ready to go. It's all mixed up. It smells wonderful.
Yeah, it does.
And we're going to put this on top of the salmon before we put it in the oven, but I just wanted to let you know what we did with this. If you were going to make this the day ahead, you could also make this ahead and just stick it in the fridge as well. It won't hurt anything. All right, so we just turned off our pot.
Ooh, it's hot.
And the last thing we're going to add to this is we add the basil. You actually want to add this in. You don't want to like boil it in it. It gets dark and it loses its flavor. So we're going to put the basil in there. And Rich chopped that for me. Thanks, Rich.
Yes, I did a lot of basil today.
You did. Then we're going to stir that in. And then we're going to take this and we're going to dump it in our 9x12 baking dish.
Do we need to put a hot pad under there, you think, or is this still cold?
No, it's fine.
Okay. What happened?
Stop for a minute. All right, so we're going to scrape this out. So we want to get all of the goodie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And put this in the sink. Now we've already preheated our oven to 400 degrees. Now, Rich, take a good look at this.
Oh, that looks so good.
So you could do, at this point, like I said, you could do chicken breast. You could make it a vegetable with fresh Parmesan cheese. And you could put just the breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese on it, and you could bake this and just have it as a side dish. You don't have to have it like this, but this is really good. So now we're going to take the salmon.
Yum.
And we're going to put it right on the top.
With the ends folded in.
With the ends folded in.
Oh, yeah.
Of the vegetable ratatouille. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we have some more chopped basil. Now, if you're not a big basil fan or you don't like a lot, you can take a little bit of this out. And we have a 1/2 stick of butter. Now, this original recipe called for a lot more butter than a 1/2 stick, but I try to kind of be conscious of calories. So I cut this back, and to me, this is plenty. I mean, you could even go with way less than this, or even without it if you're really wanting to watch calories, because with the salmon and the healthy breadcrumbs and the vegetables, I mean, you know, this is really a healthy dish. So we're going to get that all over the salmon.
Okay.
And then the last thing that we need to put on the top is going to be our breadcrumbs. Now that we might have a little more than what we need, but we're going to put these generously on the top because it makes a really neat, crunchy topping. Okay, so
it does.
Yeah.
A 400-degree oven.
And if it falls down on the vegetables, it is not going to hurt anything. Something I have done here before too, that you could do if you like, is you could also sprinkle a little bit of fresh grated Parmesan cheese.
Ooh.
It adds flavor. I love cheese. I could eat cheese every day and be perfectly happy. Okay, so we're ready to go. We're going to open our oven up and we're going to stick this in it. And then I believe we are baking it for, now here's one other thing. Some people like their salmon more done than other people.
Right.
Salmon, fresh salmon, you can make it a little less done. Rich likes it a little on the less done side, so we do like a, what we call like a medium rare.
I don't like drywall.
Yes. Well, this is going to be hard to be dry
Right.
anyway because of the moisture of the vegetables. But 25 minutes if you like it to be, you know, a little on the underdone side. Now, if you want it to be all the way done, then I would say you probably want to do it about 40 minutes, or you could do a like 35 minutes, and either one is going to be fine. So we're going to open the oven up, and it's at the 400, and we're going to pop it in there. So we're going to put our timer on 25 minutes. And then when it's time for it to come out, we're going to take it out and let you see what it looks like. So I'm getting hungry, Rich, about you.
Oh, I'm starving. We're getting close.
Yep. Not like we're hungry or anything.
No, I'm staring at the dang timer here.
Well, we got about 19 seconds. So I guess I'll go ahead and turn off the oven. This time of year, when I turn the oven off, I open the door and let it heat up the room because it's kind of chilly outside. It's raining.
Yeah, well, it's still winter.
Oh, yes, we've got 6 seconds, so we'll turn it off.
That's my favorite sound right there. Oh, right. Boy, look at that. You want me to carry you good?
No, I got it, thanks.
Okay. Watch out for the dog right behind you.
All right, now, one thing I will tell you is you can see how hot this is.
Man, that thing is
lava You've really got to let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes, or else you could end up going on a trip to emergency room for your tongue skin peeling off.
No. So what? We'll come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna let it set about 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and serve it up and do a taste test.
Awesome.
All right, so we let it set for about 10 minutes. Now we're gonna serve ourselves and we're gonna taste it. Now, just so you know, this is enough for 4 to 6 people. If you're very, very small eaters, you can get away with maybe 6 to 8 people. But I always like to have leftover, and I also like to be able to send some leftover to people home if they want. So super easy to serve. I'm gonna get mine. Mm-hmm. Oh my, that looks so good.
It does look good.
So,
wow.
I'm going to put my salmon right there, and then I'm going to get some extra.
Some little juice.
Delicious veggies. And you've got your cooked mushrooms.
Hey, save a little bit.
And it makes a really pretty presentation. Now, if I was doing this for dinner, I would probably have some rolls and maybe a very light salad of some sort, because this is really, you don't need anything else other than this.
Little pro tip, if you got little kids, always serve them the tail section of the salmon. And I know you know why, Jen.
Well, tell us why.
Because it's going to be boneless. They're not going to miss a pin bone up in the shoulder up front.
Ooh, that looks so good.
It does.
I'm hungry.
So.
Shall we do a sample?
Yes.
Okay.
It might be kind of hot.
Oh my gosh, this is cooked perfectly.
Yep, it's nice and flaky.
Look at it. Yep. I know, I'm afraid to take a bite.
It's steaming.
Mmm.
That's really good. It was worth the wait. Thank you for cooking this.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure. I could just take this, seriously, this ratatouille, just the vegetables, I could just eat like a bowl full of it. And seriously, good tip is the Parmesan cheese on it.
You know, that would be good with a fresh Parmesan cheese grated.
As a matter of fact, I might have to get up and get us some.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. I would ask you, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment. The more people that comment, the more that YouTube thinks that people are interested in our videos, which I hope they are.
and if you like this kind of content, let us know too.
Yeah. And like I said, if you're not a big seafood person, you can definitely do the chicken with it instead. But, you know, I try to get a little bit of seafood in for us. So anyway, please like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you miss ours, hit the notification bell, and then you'll know when one comes out. We're just sprinkling a few of these cooking ones in along with our regular weekly video of restaurant or traveling. So anyway, I guess that's about it. We better get going so we can eat.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.